Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 FPS. This is part of the Yeddo Trip series. I am Oatmeal, and today I will be playing the Professor. And with me, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Spec, and I will be playing Private Investigator Grim Tome.
And so we have, they are both in Yeddo, things are happening, but that they're not happening right here, right now. Um, so, let's see. Um, the best way to kind of get around Yeddo is by train. Um, it's the fastest. Um, and the professor, at least, has been doing some sightseeing, going around Yeddo, just sort of observing things and exploring as he is wont to do. Um, and as he has a few times now, he has gotten on another train. Um, what's Tome doing?
Well, that question middle of bite a Pop-Tart. This is perfect energy for Tome. I'm perfectly in character right now. Um, Tome is mostly going around Yeddo, doing a mix of investigating since he is on the Azumi case. And also, he has been informed that this is a vacation, and that means they have to do something fun as a family. So he is attempting to go around Yeddo and find something he can take the twins to do.
Nice.
Has he succeeded yet? No. But he gets anxious at every place. But he is attempting. So that means today is, because this is my obligation, left FPS, he is spending this entire time just going around train trying to find a place that he can take them later.
Uh-huh. And let's see. If I remember right, I think because Tome doesn't know what the professor looks like, but if I remember right, Tome's icon, yep, it is.
It is.
in Moria's like canon aberration investigation chat, is Tome's icon is his face. So
It is.
and also he's a 7 foot tall toon. Um,
A little hard to miss.
yeah, there aren't a lot of toons in Yeddo. So I don't know. Do you want to just both roll perception and like I mean, it's
Sure.
not like you're gonna like recognize the professor, but you might notice him.
Notice if someone's staring a little bit more than the usual.
All right, that's okay. 17. Yeah, the professor spots Tome. It's not that hard.
28. Tome.
Oh. Yeah. Well, there's a really oddly dressed person here who does not look like he fits in at all. Besides being Reelkind, so.
Sorry, I looked at the gallery.
Yeah. So, and you would also probably notice that he has clocked you. The professor, I think, he was probably just, like, on one end of the car. They're just, in the middle of the train. It is pretty crowded.
Yeah.
There's some sitting room, but it's mostly standing. But he just sort of like turns and he is smiling and he walks a bit, just sort of like weaves between people to get a bit closer. And he says, "Excuse me, are you Private Investigator Grim Tome?"
Tome kind of blinks at that, because you were he spotted you coming towards him, and now you have said his name, and he. This is fine. This is fine. He is not going to panic. I'm not letting him panic. I am grabbing him by the throat and removing that right from him. He kind of just blinks in surprise before giving a small cough and goes, yes, that would be me. Forgive me for asking, but, who are you?
Of course. I'm the professor. I know Moria.
Oh. And Tone kind of blinks at that, because you said Moria. Okay. This is a good recognition.
And he sort of, like, waves a hand, like, up and down, like, Tome, and he's like, I recognized you from the communications.
Oh, the plot devices, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna roll the history to see if Tone can remember. This is the one who complimented his name. Does Tone get that happy little memory? No. Wow.
Aww. That sucks.
Downsides to having intelligence as dumped that. Your history gets dumped with it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes, gallery, he is wearing his pin. You know what that means. It is a fluff FPS. Thank you, gallery.
Oh, thank goodness for Pritch.
Tome kind of blinks because the gallery starts going, Tome, it's the man who said good name. Tome, that's the nice guy. And Tome kind of blinks, and he then proceeds to ignore the gallery for calling him a poor meow meow. But he does blink. And he goes, oh, I remember you, actually. We talked very briefly. Tome
yes.
is not going to admit that the name made him happy. He is not going to bring that up. But he has relaxed a bit, and he is smiling a bit more.
Yes, he just sort of, like, nods in recognition, like, he also remembers that. Yes, that's right. Well, I didn't expect you to, I mean, I didn't expect to run into, anybody else out here. I mean, we are all in the same city, but, you know, and he just sort of shrugs.
Big country, not as likely, and less plot convenience here.
Quite.
I'm kind of just nods in understanding.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, I mean, it's nice to properly meet you, and, he sticks out his hand to shake.
Oh, of course. And Tome shakes her hand in return.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get to roll something.
I remembered after I said it.
Uh-huh. Well, darn it. Okay, that's 11, 12. Okay, so Professor's True Sight is working, and he got a 12 on perception. So whatever he can see, with a 12 in perception, if there's anything true sightable about, Tome, that usually means, like, if there's any, magical disguise, he can see through it. Anything invisible, he can see it. If something's in the ethereal plane, he can see it, so he can usually see, like, a Kalashtar's quarry. And he can kind of, like, see your soul, kind of. But also, he got a 12, so, like, he's not getting everything.
Here's the thing, I hate to break it to you, Tome's pretty boring. I don't think Right now I'm going through my head, like, with the gallery count, like, that's the closest you can get. Like, this is my PC that actually does not have a bunch of magical effects on them.
I think the only
thing this
yeah, and like, it's sight-based, so, like, unless the gallery, like manifests as
It doesn't.
something. Yeah, no. In that case, like no, it's just connected to him via his pin, and his pin looks like it's a pin, and it looks like it's supposed to. So like I don't, and it's not detect magic, like so it doesn't seem different. So he's just nothing. He doesn't notice anything because there's nothing to see. Oh boy. But Professor, that's just how it is sometimes.
I'm so sorry. You met a 7 foot tall Toon. That's the most interesting thing about him.
Yeah, no, the fact that he has to look up to talk to this person is interesting.
The fact that Tome doesn't have to look directly down has been interesting for him. There's a slight angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, after that, he just sort of, like, turns and, looks about the train. He says, well, so, how have you been?
Um, Quite well. Um, Not much, really. I got here a bit later than everyone else, along with Leonardo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he kind of just shifts awkwardly. Forgot how bad he is at conversation. Um, he kind of looks at Professor and goes, "And what about you? I believe you're one of the first people to come over here."
Yes, that's right. Um, I've been alright. Um, having to, uh, escort Azumi to the precinct was interesting. Um,
There's a nod from Tome, who's heard about this.
yeah. And it's been a time, making sure that everybody's coping well enough. Um, but it's been a few days. People have calmed down. Been calmed down. He does not mention that he was one of those people. um,
Tome insight.
you can, yeah. You're a detective. You've got to have bullshit stat. Yeah. Yeah, so there's something in the way like he like leans back a bit and like looks away, like just something really subtle, but like he is not entirely talking about like the kids.
Okay, Tome, how would you handle this? Because you're pretty decent at not stepping on buttons in my mind. Um, let's handle this with some grace, Tome. This is we got to have a good impression here. Tome kind of pauses before he gives a nod, and he doesn't directly comment on it, but there is a slightly knowing look, and he goes, "Well, I'm glad everyone is doing better. I understand, especially those close to Azumi, that what happened was a lot, and I hope that all of them are taking time to take care of themselves."
I I think with all that, like he's able to catch on because that was pretty pointed.
I'm looking at him like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the professor just sort of like raises an eyebrow and like the corner of his lips like quirks up, and he's like, okay, like okay, you got it. Uh and he just sort of like looks off, and he looks amused. um and he says, yes, no worries, we are. And he just sort of like under his breath, he's like, detectives.
To surprise, this one actually is living up to his name right now. His title is working.
Uh-huh. uh, but, what particularly, brings you out here? I've just been wandering around.
Oh, well, today I am attempting to see what things there are to do in Yeddo. I've never actually been out of the country before, but
Hmm.
I figured it'd be a good idea to, especially considering the recent events, to take Leonardo and Camille out somewhere.
I think that's a fine idea.
Tom kind of blinks at that, like, "Oh, validation. Okay." Very small, but there is the little blink of, "Oh, my parent thought got validated. This is good. I am doing good at being a parent. This is a completely normal and healthy thing to want."
Oh gosh. Oh, Tome. Yeah, he just sort of like nods and he says, "Let's see. There's I mean, there's a few different things good to go to. Let's see. There's I was just at um a market. I didn't get anything, but it is really fun to go around and look at what everybody's selling. Um, and let's see. There's Arata told me that there's a planetarium around that just reopened. Um, well, maybe this wouldn't be for the boys, but Moria told me there's a nice was it a jazz bar, something like that. And well, there's just all sorts of different things.
Tom nods at that, and you can tell he is mentally taking note of those. I Spec him mentally taking note of those as well. I'm so sorry, boys. I don't care if you're into music. I don't think Tome's gonna take you to a bar.
Yeah,
This is that
they
you got a better chance with Juby or something.
they have
You got a better.
they have non-alcoholic drinks, which I know because I listened to the FPS where, let's see, Arata took Anastasia and Moria there, and it's also one of Azumi's favorite haunts, but the professor doesn't know that, so he's just like, it's a bar. I don't know if that's the right place for them.
I'm agreeing with you. The kids are gonna have to try and use some puppy eyes and persuasion to convince him later.
Uh-huh. uh, uh,
Kind of nods at that, and you could see the one that he perked up the most at was probably the planetarium, and he kind of nods at that one and goes, Meal's very much into science. He'd probably like that, and I'm sure I could find something for Leonardo to do."
what does Leonardo like?
Tome's sweating. Marzi, Tome knows that Leo likes art, right? We haven't actually interacted them enough on camera. Okay. Well, I know that he likes art and art history, music, drama,
Ooh.
outfits for sure. More to costume time.
Mm-hmm.
Camille is very much on the science end, while Leonardo's on the artistic end.
Ah. Oh, let's see then. Maybe. Um. Well, if there are any interesting theater performances going on, that could be one thing. But those can be, depending on it, could be expensive. Maybe something a little more cost effective.
Winces a bit at that, like, yeah, nope, money, not, can't do that one.
Yeah, he sort of catches this and like nods. Although, maybe an art gallery or a museum, because that would at
Museum.
least have that would have, that might have costumes. It would have historical artifacts. It would have various works of art, especially old ones.
Yes, and considering Yeddo isn't exactly a new country, there would be plenty to see. That's a good idea. I have to either check the library or ask Arata then if there's any of those around here. He gives you he gives you a thankful smile for having helped him figure this out.
Yeah. He just smiles and nods, like he gets it. He's just helping out.
Well, it's going good so far. Bernie Nomo.
Speaking of science, the interesting problem that one of the boys has, I'm
kind of stiffens and looks at you.
yeah, he just sort of like he puts a hand up and like glances around like, don't worry, I'm not gonna like say anything wild here.
You're getting a very pointed dad look, like don't think about it either.
Yeah, no. He's like, no. I've been asked to help with the scientific or possibly technological aspect, if there is one. Just to let you know.
Kind of nods and I'm gonna roll insight because I know that Professor isn't lying. I need to make sure Tome realizes that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because this one is a very sore topic for him. 18, I'll count it. He could tell that the professor isn't lying, and he does nod, but he doesn't lose that stiffness. Instead, he, like I said, gives a little nod. Well then, it seems that we will be working together then, as that's how I am helping him with the current situation.
Oh. He opens his mouth to talk again and then like stops, looks around. Looks like mildly annoyed. And he says like, would you like to perhaps, let's see, where on a train? If we go towards the caboose, perhaps, we could continue this conversation.
Tome pauses before he gives a reluctant nod because whether or not he likes it, he does have to accept that he needs help on this case and he cannot solve this problem by himself. So he does give a nod and he glances towards where the caboose is.
Yeah, in that case, Professor's just going to wind his way pretty easily through the train until they're at the caboose and they're out the back door on the, just sort of standing at the sort of like end deck thing. I'm sure.
Title card.
Yeah, title card. It's a little windier back here.
Side effects of a moving train: wind.
Yeah.
Some kind of just grabs onto his hat just to make sure it doesn't blow away.
I think the professor probably wasn't wearing his in the train. Yeah, he just sort of like he leans against the railing and just sort of like looks around like, yes, I think this will do. Nobody really in there, and he like waves his hand at the the actual caboose car proper, because you're not really supposed to have passengers in there. Like, you can go through it, but that's not what it's for. Um, and there's no like chairs in there. Um, at least if I'm remembering it right. Anyway, um,
All I have for reference is the Polar Express, so I don't think that's.
yeah, no, I should know more about this, considering like a job I had once, but I can't
Told
remember.
you.
Yeah,
You're
but
so valid.
but the point is, they're out there. The people are not immediately close, and like, um, and the wind is providing a decent amount of white noise. So yeah, he's just sort of like, I, he's just sort of like, uh, just leading. He seems pretty relaxed.
Tom does not share that relaxedness. He leans against the door, kind of as almost a way of keeping it shut,
Mm-hmm.
and crosses his arms slightly,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just gives a motion for you to talk with the nod of his head. He is very much keeping that stiff posture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The professor's like smile drops a bit, seeing like, okay, this is not comfortable for him. Um, so he's not going to be as that's sort of like, okay, tone it down, don't be as flippant. Um, but he just says, Azumi and Camille, um, well, I had sort of figured something out. Um, I'd figured out that something was up, and they came to talk to me to try and convince me that it was one thing, but their lie was awful. Um,
There's a snort from Tome actually at that. He does laugh at that.
like, even with Azumi's help, it was awful. Um, and um, I made a guess, which was close enough to the mark, that uh, they ended up telling me what the situation was. That there's parts that I don't know. I actually don't know who he was before. Um, I realized I hadn't asked about that, but considering what they were, where my sort of talents lie, that's not really relevant to my piece of this puzzle anyway. At least I don't think it is.
It is not.
All right. Um, but yes, I am just sort of, I am something of an expert in odd things, advanced or specialized magics and sciences. Stop.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
The gift. I'm something of a scientist myself. That sucks.
I'm so sorry, Oatmeal. You said I'm somewhat of a, and my brain, like it was like an instant line. I was like, no.
Yes. No, that's fair. God.
This is meant to be the most affectionate way.
Yes. No. Yeah. Heck. Yeah, but
I am very serious.
serious FPS, serious conversation. Yeah, he says, I'm an expert in unusual or specialized magics or sciences, and technologies that most of the world doesn't know about. So, since this is so curious, and honestly, the fact that I can't figure out what's happened, how this happened, what this is, and he's like gesturing, just sort of like mild, like just a little bit frustrated. The fact that I can't figure it out is significant, and it it I mean it speaks to there being something very wrong about it, and something larger than one would like to have to deal with.
Well, I would have to say that you are correct in that it is definitely a peculiar and specific case. So I'm glad that you're on it. Um, and you are correct in that it is definitely something not normal, per se, or at least not common knowledge to most people.
Sure.
Do you want to insight Tome?
Yeah. Ah! It went off my chair. Dang it.
Ain't that the mood?
Alright, hang on. That's okay. That's a 10. That's nothing.
Okay, Tome, how bad can you fail this deception just this once? Nope.
Nah.
Okay. The DM, am just gonna have to we'll give you another chance at insight.
Do you want me to roll again?
Yeah, roll again.
Alright.
Because Tome is
I got the same number.
I'm looking away.
Why does this keep happening to me? I got the same thing again. What the fuck? That's
3 times?
That's 3 times. Why?
Use Aubrey. Your dice is loaded.
Alright, 16. That's slightly better. Actually, that beats your thing.
Yes.
Alright. God.
If it wasn't 3 times in a row, I'd be like, but if that's 3 times in a row, that's a little biased.
It's a little weird.
Tome knows. I'm trying to figure out what you could get from insight. Tome knows a lot more than what he is giving, and may possibly know a specific thing about this case.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Out of character, he knows a good amount, and he knows one of the key parts of how it happened.
Yeah. Well, the professor after that just he doesn't like immediately address that he obviously knows more than he does. But because, I mean, partially because that just makes sense to him. Like, Tome has probably been on the case longer. Tome is a detective. Etc. Like, it just, this makes sense to him. But, he looks off to the side, off the train, and he says, it's concerning, because this could be, like I said, it could be something big. The last case that Azumi and I worked on, it started small, and then it turned out that an entire criminal organization wanted to, well, they were willing to hurt children to get what they wanted.
Tome kind of stiffens and blinks at that.
And he just sort of like
Looks away from the gallery.
yeah, he just shrugs.
Well, I am figuring that there has to be something bigger going on. Solely because, to my knowledge, and he kind of hesitates for a second, what did this to him should have killed him.
Yes, he did tell me that. I know that it was a poison.
That is the concerning part to me on my end, is that there shouldn't have been a way for him to survive based off what I know of what was in that poison.
What do you know of what was in that poison?
And Tome kind of shuffles and he glances back to make sure that there is absolutely no one listening, and you even see him poke his head to look on top of the train. This man is paranoid.
The professor is like he for a second he kind of looks a bit surprised, like, oh, that's a little overkill, but then he thinks about all of the stupid things that have happened in his life, and he's like, well, no, that's fair.
Tome is very anxious.
Yeah.
The professor will learn this very quick. This man is full of anxiety. One of the ingredients, based off what I've been informed, is this unique water that, that boy is the first living case is the first person I've ever heard of surviving contact with it for an extended period, or first person to ever survive ingesting it.
Okay. A strange sort of water.
It's not the most common knowledge. Total of, I believe, Tome and I counting on our fingers real quick. Me just grabbing the entire 1 second. Where's my list?
That's fair.
I need my list because I am going to forget at least one of these people.
Mood.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is, as of my current knowledge, only 8 people who know of it, myself included, and, well, I guess 9 you, and, well, correction, that'd be 10 if you include Azumi. And he is doing little math, but anyways, outside of that, whoever tried to poison him, then, it is not exactly common knowledge, and there is a pointed look, and I would like to keep it that way as well.
Oh, of course. I can keep a secret.
You, who within a few seconds of meeting Tome, was like, yes, our mutual problem. Tome raises a small eyebrow. I say this no, I, out of character, know a professor could keep secrets, but it's just the timing is quite hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
It's hilarious.
This does not look good. The optics on this are not good.
It's fine. It's fine. Camille and Azumi trust you, and they have just as many trust problems as him. So he's gonna take that as a. That's what you got going for you.
Yeah, he raises his eyebrows, and he's just the professor is just like, I'm direct. I'm not loose.
Nods, but there's very much a pointed look of, if you slip, I will know. Um,
He shrugs. He looks completely unaffected by this.
good. Good. Please don't let Tome actually be considered intimidating. This is a sad, wimp, little noodle of a man.
Yeah, I don't think he could intimidate the professor.
I don't think he can. Please don't be intimidated by this sad, poor little meow.
He's not. um. Well. Did I mean, surely if you're in charge of the case, then you know about the sort of person of interest, the prime suspect. I was shown a picture.
Hold up, I don't think Tome knows about Rat Bastard.
Oh my god!
Hold up, Gallery, wait, I don't think has anybody actually told Tome about Rat Bastard.
Oh! Ooh. Whoops! Professor, I can keep the secret.
That's why I'm checking with the gallery to see if this got discussed off screen, because Tome only connected the dots because the boys, because Azumi and Camille figured out that Tome was connected. Not Tome didn't find out that he was connected until an FPS. Oh my gosh, this is before Camille and Tome talk, which means there's a small chance this is before. I don't think there was, because it kind of went straight from the Camille and Leo Tome trio FPS where they kind of forced Tome into being dad, and Tome connected the dots that it was the one where Tome found out that Camille was Sam, and then instantly went to Zumi breakdown. So like, yeah. I don't think
oh boy,
this is great. This is hilarious. This is the.
Alright, so Professor is just like, surely you know about the prime suspect.
Actually blinks. No, I don't. There hasn't exactly been a moment for it to come up since I found out about the case. Oh. Or at least my connection to it.
Oh, alright, I see. Well, considering you were on the list of trusted people, I expect, that it would be alright for me to tell you what little I know? And he sort of, like, looks questioningly at Tome, like, is...
He gives a nod, I guess.
Alright.
There is a nod, like, yes, you can, if not, I will face Camille myself. And Azumi.
Yeah. And Fletch, you're gonna have to remind me if there was a name attached to this person or not, because I do not remember, but the professor, in the meantime, is gonna say, there is a, person, I believe I think, a tall or average height, Reelkind man with, light blonde hair, long blonde hair, and a crow familiar?
Tome kind of blinks, and there is a momentary flashback to Camille's nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a secondary flashback to Spades. And then there's little dots connecting. They're not the correct dots connecting, but Tome, one of his gags is that he does not connect things the right way the first time, and I will be dying upon this hill. Don't worry, though, it is not the worst connection he could have made. He kind of nods and goes, all right, well... Don't worry, gallery, he just heard bird, an evil person, and his brain went, ah yes, Penumbra's behind it.
Oh my goodness.
Penumbra's the way that it got leaked, because when in doubt, he will blame Penumbra. Don't worry, he's not gonna say anything, though. He just kind of nods and goes, well, alright then. The
boys were referring to him as Rat Bastard.
Oh! Curse word!
Does he say that?
Yes, he says that!
The professor just, like, laughs. He's a little surprised by that.
Free instinct. Oh, well, there went my ability to curse for today. There went my ability to curse for today. I knew I should have used it up earlier. Sorry about that.
That's...
I'm stuck on the PG-13 rating, which means I can only have one curse word said by me or someone around me per day. Oh, and there it went.
Oh, well,
Uh,
I'm sorry. He still looks
it's
amused, but he seems he sort of like looks thoughtful and nods like, okay, like this is a Toon thing that he recognizes. After all, like Grolix is a thing. So,
yeah. No, Tome gives away. Don't worry about it. You're better than the boys who like to try and sneak one in before I can have a chance.
uh
Um, yeah, no, sorry. Sorry about that. Um, no, that doesn't match anyone that I know of who knows of the water, so
hmm.
definitely means there's an outside party involved.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Well, considering that 9 people know, it's not too surprising that uh that somebody uh slipped up.
Stone gives a nod. I have one person who I would not put it below, but
Hmm.
hmm.
So, where does this stuff come from? What?
Oh, there's a small island off the coast of um Well, the uncanny in the very edge of the uncanny triangle.
Oh.
Um, Absolutely full of it. He's being very careful to not give you an actual specific location.
Mm-hmm.
I am one of the few people who knows the exact location, and I do plan on keeping that much at least.
All right.
Since hopefully we won't need any more of it.
Hmm. Since its primary purpose, and he sort of tilts his head, is to kill people.
Oh, actually, no, that's not anywhere near its primary purpose.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, no, the whole killing people is a side effect. Um, it's actually just, don't know how to explain it. Uh, Tome trying to remember the way he phrased it before. It basically, when it comes in contact with most plants and animals, has a chance of rapid evolution, basically.
Hmm.
Um, d- Most of us just refer to it as making them into mystids, but it's scientifically it's just cause there's a chance of causing either a short-term or long-term evolution of some sort. The only difference is when it comes in contact with Reelkind, it acts as a extremely fatal poison. And
Hmm.
well, let's just say tunes don't get a much better experience.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It is fatal to both tunes and Reelkind of humanoid types.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Well, I've encountered a few substances that don't quite match up, but have a similar sort of uh, accelerating property to them in regards to development. Um, Mostly mutagens,
Oh, nods.
and they do have a tendency to be fatal when used wrong. Um, but it doesn't kill these mistids, these plants and animals, at all.
No, in fact it takes normal plants and animals and turns them into mistids.
Okay. That's. Hmm.
Toma's looking at you for a moment. He goes, "You're taking this quite well."
Yeah, he just, like, he looks up from where he was, like, thinking, and, well, I come across, like I said, a lot of odd things. I travel a lot. Um, I've traveled a lot for a long time, and I uh, get into
Nods,
a lot
and
of situations.
there is a almost respectful look at that, like, yes, the plot. And he kind of nods. And Tome is relaxing some.
Hmm. But I mean, if it's especially if it's oh, let's see. Has it? Let's see. Does it? If it would turn a tune let's say a hair, for example, into a misted, some sort of evolved hair, then would it do the same thing to a Reelkind hair?
Um, Possibly, possibly not. There is no. It doesn't always have the same effect. There is a small grimace. I know someone who has done more research on the specifics of how it works on certain creatures,
Hmm.
specifically bugs.
Hmm.
The same species, when exposed to the water, can have wildly varying results.
Oh, that does complicate matters.
Exist.
Hmm.
Once a species has become a mistid, there is a chance of more mistids coming from that out of natural ways,
Hmm.
but
Interesting.
the actual it's very hard to replicate results.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. This is very strange. Is this person, would this person, be able to be, maybe not trusted, but contacted?
Yes, he can be contacted, though I do not think you'd want to. And there is a notably annoyed look on his face.
Well, all things considered, it may end up being a necessity.
I will see if I can find a way to contact him then.
Hmm.
I've already been. I've. Golly, you can't make me snort while I'm trying to be serious. Um, I've been in some contact with him since I got on this case, and I've been having him do some extra research, but uh, I if he does not find anything with what I've asked of him, I may allow others to go see him.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's that's good. I'm glad you're keeping that channel open. It seems as if you really dislike this person.
There is a snort from Tome. To give an idea, when I first heard that the boys knew a professor,
Hmm?
I instantly had every hope and prayer to every god in Inkwell that it was not the same one that I already knew.
Oh, oh dear.
There is an extremely annoyed look on his face.
That does happen. Oh, that's unfortunate.
There is a snort. Don't worry, he is not of any actual danger in my mind. He is simply just. He
Insufferable.
is. Yes, exactly. In every way of the word.
Uh,
He kind of just rubs the bridge of his nose, like obviously annoyed out of his mind at that even just talking of this man.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Everyone hates Professor Pathfinder. I've yet to find a single person who likes Professor Pathfinder.
Oh, man. Um, well, what about the others who know? Um,
Well, one um, does not do much research with animals or creatures. He is much more likely he just sticks to plants.
hmm,
And all he is one of the few people I can say with more confidence I cannot see having said anything to anyone. He tends to stick to himself constantly.
mm-hmm,
As for the others, I caught up with them much recently,
mm-hmm,
though considering how little they already knew of the water
hmm,
before I met them, and only one of them I would say has any sort of scientific interest ever.
hmm,
Uh, and to be honest, I do not even know if she would be interested in continuing to research anything related to that place. I
hmm,
don't think they would have spilled it. They do tend to be pretty good on keeping secrets.
mm-hmm. Well, that is... It is good when a person is trustworthy and uh, can keep themselves from letting a secret slip. But sometimes other people who know that somebody knows something that they want to know can pry it from them through an array of different means.
I am aware of that. And Tome is stiff. Like I said, I know one person who may be able to get in contact with the others and just make sure that they haven't said anything.
Hmm. If I may ask, how did this all come about? Were you part of some sort of project?
Oh, Tome kind of stiffens and you notice his frame rate starts hiccuping a bit. I have to do a wisdom check on this one.
Ooh.
This one's not a good memory.
Oh dear. It's supposed to be fluff.
I'm sorry. We started talking about the water. And
I know.
It was.
I know it's my fault. The professor can't not talk about it.
I mean, on a bright side, despite this not being the fluffiest event, this is probably the most trusting Tome's been towards another adult outside Moria.
Well,
So like,
progress?
we'll take
Question
we'll take
mark?
this. We'll take it's a win-lose situation. I mean,
Uh-huh. That's a bad
yeah,
whiz save, though.
that was a really bad whiz check. That's a 7 on how he's doing mentally. Tome's frame rate kind of jumps a bit. I met them all on a case about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he very much does not elaborate.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I'm just gonna do a quick insight. Yeah, that'll be enough. That's, what is that, 13? Yeah, that'll be enough to know that he's uncomfortable.
Yeah, Tome is notably does not enjoy speaking of how he met them.
Mm-hmm. The professor just sort of, like, pauses, for a moment, thinking, deciding, and just sort of nods. And he says, all right, If it becomes relevant, I may ask again, but as of
I'm
yet,
quite sure it won't.
yes, as of yet, it does not seem to be. Well, that's all very good to know. That actually may help quite a bit with figuring out what this is and if there's a way to reverse it.
Gives a nod. As of the moment, I do not know of any way to reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
Though I am seeing if I can find a way.
Mm-hmm. Since it is not magical in nature, it does complicate things.
There is a nod.
Mm-hmm. These matters are not quite so easily reversed as that.
Absolutely not. I hate to say it, but I almost wish it was a curse.
Mm,
Be easier to fix.
it very well might be. Well, I'm glad he's getting support in the meantime.
Tom kind of blinks at that. Oh, me shaking Tome, are you going to answer this honestly or fluff wise?
Mm.
Which are you going to answer this? Because he gave me a line and yeah, no, that was what he gave me, Marzi. He was like, yeah, no, he's got Leo. It's going.
Oh my
Throw my
god.
hands in the air. Throw my hands in the air. Shakes him, grabs him by the throat like a squeaky toy. Yeah, no, he has lots of people there for him.
I want to roll insight to see if he.
You can roll insight because I'm
All
grabbing
right,
him by the.
that's a 21. I think that's
Yep,
probably enough.
that's plenty.
Um,
Tome is not quite including himself in that people.
the professor just like raises an eyebrow and says, "I meant you, silly."
Oh, oh, oh. Tome just is kind of blinking at that. Thank you.
Professor just sort of like amused, like rolls his eyes, like, "Oh man, some people."
Professor, if I have to deal with another 4D chess detective.
uh,
Tome is not handing me being upset because the whole before this has actually gone very well regarding his opinion of the professor, so he is not taking offense to that. It is as if Moria rolled her eyes, and Moria rolls her eyes at him a lot.
That's good. That's fair. Um, if it helps, it's like sort of affectionate.
Yeah, it does help. Tone voice. Ah, yes, this is what Moria does. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the. This is eye roll affectionate. I not eye roll derogatory.
Very, very much so. Very much.
This
so.
is not Azumi.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Uh, well, I mean, like I said, I will do what I can to help. It's hard to know exactly what that is just yet, but
If
my resources are at your disposal. And he sort of like does a wide gesture.
Tom kind of blinks at that before he gives a nod. If Camille can think of any way that I can help you in your side of the research as well. I do not mind.
I appreciate it. Boy, this sure is a mess.
Oh, absolutely. Both of them are doing just that tired sigh, like,
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's it's not very comforting to think this, but at least he's not actually, you know, 7.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, not that it makes that much of a difference, but
No, I understand what you're saying. It explains a lot of other concerning things.
it does do that. It does do that. That finding that out, figuring that out was that was a bit of a relief.
Yeah, I agree. Even as a tune logic can only reassure me so much.
Mm-hmm. He tried to pull that on me too.
Unfortunately for him, I know a bit too much about tune logic for that to work on me.
Entirely fair. No, I was a prime target for that reasoning. I've only been here a little over a year.
Oh, so I'm guessing you don't know everything about tune logic.
No, not everything. I wish I could say I did, but
Well,
I don't.
if you need any help so that the boys cannot try and pull something like that again, I would not mind trying to tell you.
Thank you.
The
Next,
less they can do that to any of us, the better. Don't
uh,
worry, they do the same thing with me sometimes with real kind stuff. So
oh,
it's more of to get me to give in when they're doing puppy dog eyes.
oh. Well, if you want to ask me about Reelkind stuff, you absolutely may.
There is a snort. Well, then together we may be able to avoid those two from being able to get whatever they want.
Perhaps.
There is an actual laugh coming from him under his breath.
Aw. uh. Gallery.
Thanks for killing me right there, gallery.
Man, where did my train of thought go? I had one.
Well, I think the train's right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
uh. Yeah, no, I can't. I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Mood. Well, it has been an hour.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how do you
Unless.
think? Hmm?
Oh, you go. You go.
Oh well, I was gonna say how would you want to wrap it up then? But what?
I was gonna say unless I was gonna ask how you would.
Oh, okay. Um.
No. Words I can speak. What I was trying to say is unless you had something you wanted them to talk about.
Oh, yeah. I think I did, and then I didn't. So I've forgotten it. Whatever it was. Um.
I can't believe this. The gallery was just so funny.
Yeah. Um. I'm like just racking my brain. Like, what possibly else? No, I can't find it. Whatever it was, it's gone.
In the wind.
Oh well, another time.
Another time, another FPS.
Mm-hmm. Well, in that case, uh, Probably, probably they just keep going with a bit of small talk until they reach their destination, and um, either scope out a like they either go their separate ways or they like scope out a place to take the boys together to sort of evaluate it, whichever.
Either way, they are having a good, fluffy vibe time.
Yeah, it's a chill
It goes
time.
well.
E.
No, Tome would not. Tome has told him he is very, very careful about that.
Hmm.
He has enough anxiety, he double checks almost everything he says, unless it's about himself, and then he slips way too often for his liking.
Oh my god, I remembered what it was.
Oh no.
Heck.
Oh.
Do you want to?
Oh? Yeah, I'm cool.
Alright. Okay, so, we'll tack that back on at the end, but, rewind a touch. The professor, after, thinking a bit, he looks to Tome and he says, "You know Camille better than I do. Do you know what that scar is about?" And he sort of like does a motion, like he like draws a line on like the top of his chest, like right under the collarbone.
Would Tome know that?
I don't know.
Gallery? I don't even know if Tome knows about that.
Hmm.
Yeah, he probably gave a worried look. Gallery. He gave the anxious Tome look that Camille knows. Anxious Tome look, TM, patented, trademarked. Elevator music, elevator music.
Yeah.
The gallery's typing, so
Yeah, we've got the lore holders in the.
Okay. Tome shakes his head. No, he hasn't. All he told me was that it wasn't a big deal.
He just kind of looks
Why?
skeptical. He shrugs a bit. I noticed it when we first met, and I'm just curious. I mean, thinking that he was 6 at the time, that doesn't leave a lot of time for things to happen to you, for you to get scars. Knowing that he's older, it makes a little more sense. It's a bit less immediately alarming, but I mean, that sure is a scar in a straight line in a strange spot.
Frowns at that, and you could tell that he is probably going to be talking to Camille later. Now, no, I don't actually know the specifics. It's the same thing with any of his other scars.
Does he have many?
Camille is like me. He is a detective. And I'm afraid to say that explains a lot in my mind.
Perhaps.
Wait, hold up, gallery. Give me about 5 seconds. The player, just connected dots with other dots. gallery. That's from, let me ask a question real quick. Yeah, hold up. I need to roll I need to roll Arcana real quick. Tome might actually know those scars. Hold up. Out of character. Wait a minute, because I wasn't connecting with when you were talking about this. I hate to say it, Camille has way too many scars.
Roll. Get.
Okay, gal. Come on, dice. This is. Nope. Does not connect the dots right now.
Ah. Darn.
That is a 14.
Man.
Yep. Nope. He doesn't connect the dots.
Do you want to roll it again?
Let's do one more roll.
This is FPS.
Yes!
Ah. Nice.
There is a moment before Tome kind of pauses. And he seems to be in thought. And there's very much you can almost see him connecting dots. Wait, hold up. You said the one that was in a straight line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is momentary slow connections. There are dots up there. And you see him stiffen. And you can almost see the light bulb. You are in a Reelkind country. It cannot manifest, but above his head seems a bit brighter for a second.
Uh-huh.
Tome just connected some dots.
So perhaps not explained away quite that easily?
Well, based off the location, I took Moon. I didn't even think anything of it because it was a different shape. I'll have to ask him, be sure, but it could be whole person. Which I hate to say is not an uncommon spell for a detective to find themselves against, but
No.
for it to leave a mark is what concerns me.
Yes. I know another Toon who has that particular spell scarred, and it was from very significant repeated traumatic use of it, so
yes. You can only get it from long-term exposure or fighting against, or like you said, repeated use. Oh Moon. Oh, I'm gonna have to ask him about this.
It may not be related to everything else, but things work differently in Inkwell, but at least from the Reelkind end, I would be very surprised if they were not related.
There is a sigh. I would be surprised too.
Do you know what that sort of thing calls to mind for me?
No, what does it?
And he hesitates because this is upsetting. Science experiment.
Stiffens a lot. I'll have to ask him question, but I very much hope that is not it.
So do I.
Especially because of the implications that would have.
Quite. It is not a good situation to find oneself in.
Tom Tome's gonna insight real quick.
You may.
Hmm.
Professor is
How's the
not.
22?
Oh, yeah, no, that'll do it. Professor isn't, like, super actively trying to. He's just being a little obtuse. Um. Well, it sure sounds as if the professor has personal experience, that's pretty specific. Um. Like, like what he said is something that he's experienced. Like that is the thing that you are able to gain from
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
he is not super hiding it either. Like this is not something that is like he said it in an obscuring sort of way, but he didn't like this isn't a person for whom this is a big secret either.
Um, Frowns at that, and he looks at you for a moment before you've you have personal experience with it, don't you?
Hmm. Yes, unfortunately.
There's a sigh. I, if I may ask, are you okay now?
Oh, yes. No, I'm quite alright now. It was a very, very long time ago.
Still, I just wanted to make sure. There is a sigh of relief at that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obvious he's not going to pry into your personal information, but there is a look of respect before. Oh my gosh, Tome, you've had character development. There's a pause before he kind of goes, well, since we will be working on this case together some, if you do need to talk,
Oh,
there's a small nod.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Truly, though, it's been so long ago that I've long since processed it, got over it. The scars are gone. It's it's old news. But thank you. That's very kind of you.
There is a nod of understanding of that it is old news, but the same kind of energy of if the offer still does stand, though.
Nice.
Holds this.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't have anything to go from there. So do you? If you want to tack that ending back on again,
we just kind of slide the ending over.
right? Copy, paste.
Just a little cut and glue in there.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so they had they had a they end up with a chill time
They
in the
do.
end. Yeah.
Everything good. They vibing. They're friends now, hopefully. Or
Yeah.
at least they're not on the enemy's end. We did
Yeah.
this. We managed to get the first meeting to go good.
Yes, yes, we managed to have a good first meeting. We shall see how things go from here.
Yes, that is the important part. Let's
Uh, yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this FPS with me, Spec.
thank you for doing it with me.
Yeah, it was lovely. Thank you, audience, for listening, both present and future. And with that, we will bid you all a good time zone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.